Here's exactly how we scaled our Amazon BizUp client from minus 50K in debt. Okay, he got burned by minus 50K by another agency to 100K a month in less than 90 days through paid ads only. All right, and if you don't believe me, believe the money counting Hasbullah over there, or believe the Airtable dashboard that you can see there right now, where you can see exactly how much we've collected last month, how much we've generated in revenue, right? And all the other important steps. And here, some other WAP incoming payments in our Discord channel with Zapier automation, right? With that being said, guys, we've scaled this client from literally like Phil from minus 50K to 100K, and I will reveal every single step of our entire funnel system in this video, okay? My name is Simon Asman. All we talk about here on this channel is how you can build and scale your coaching business from wherever you're at right now to 6 to 7 figures a month consistently. And this is just another client testimonial that shows that what we guys are doing actually works. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, there's a bunch of helpful videos that will help you wherever you're at right now. If you're struggling with your email system, if you're struggling with your ads, if you're struggling with your webinars, with your funnels, whatever you might be struggling with right now, believe me, one of my videos has the answer for this. And if you're already a subscriber, welcome back, my friend. You just made another great decision. Here's an absolute banger. Okay, case study. So with that being said, how did we manage it to literally scale an offer from zero? Like, obviously he paid minus 50K with ads. You can obviously go minus with what you're investing, right? And yeah, he paid minus 50K on another agency. His ads weren't profitable, so he hired us. We came in there, and to be completely honest with you guys, the start wasn't easy. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. So we started working in December last year, when we kind of had a call and started working first. And as you can see, he has literally no organic following, no organic following on YouTube. Now, I have to say that we faced a huge problem during our journey, that our Instagram account got taken down. So he had an Instagram account with kind of 26K followers. But our friends at Meta thought, no, well, let's make it a bit harder for these guys to actually run profitable ads and to retarget people within their audiences, and took our account down. And this was obviously like a big problem for us guys. However, we still managed to figure it out. So as I said, he had no organic reach. He got burned by other agencies before. I thought it wasn't just one, and I will show you later one of the landing pages. I'm sorry, agency, if you're producing a landing page like this, I need to use it within my videos. And yeah, he was at minus 50K with his Webby campaign. Like, the entire budget he's yeah, kind of prepared for this webinar project was minus 50K. Like, he already burned 50K of his budget for this until I'm not making any money, right? He had the wrong ad messaging when we stepped in there. He had a very bad offer structure, horrible webinar show rates, flawed landing page, low converting presentation, no backend selling system. His domain was unhealthy AF, and he had bad sales management. But he had very good client attributes, and this is what we highly appreciate in all of the clients that we work with. He was just executing. He had speed. We would send him like 20 or 30 ads a day, and he got them recorded by the next day, right? And edited as well. He was even editing kind of his ads sometimes himself if his editor took too much time. He was trusting us and our decisions. He had willingness to invest. He was selling a highly valuable offer. He was in a good niche, the Amazon wholesale niche, and he's a great presenter and had the time to run weekly webinars as well, right? So all of this great attributes for us to actually make the start and invest a lot of time in his infrastructure and dialing in his entire process. You need to think like this wasn't a completely from scratch. It was completely from scratch project, but the main thing here is he already had some stuff in place. However, the stuff that he had in place was completely bullshit. So we needed to scrap off the stuff that the other agency installed and install our own system. And because of this, in the first month where we didn't do this, we barely broke even, because we basically continued running what the other agency had built for him, and it didn't work, right? We were so close to thinking we couldn't help him, and I was thinking, I can still remember some conversations with we are thinking about, maybe we can't make it work. But one day everything changed, and we barely broke even on a 3K webinar campaign. And then our client told us like that he wanted to run another one within 3 days. And I was like, man, I really like this guy. We need to kind of like in some way dial in his processes, right? And we're like, we weren't breaking even. We were still losing money, and it was like, man, I need to take some initiative and really put in some work. And I put in the reps. I scripted like another 4, 5, 6, 7 very quick ads for him, scripted a bunch of 10, 15 different email sequences. I redid our entire email system, redid the entire backend, as you can see over there. I just want to show you the conversation there. There's a massive list we can use. Directly sent him this ads like 1 hour later, right? Let's get these recorded, put some captions in there, frame the event as a nice event, and a Thursday special. And yeah, literally this campaign where I kind of like restructured the entire system and was like, man, I really need to dial this in, scripted some new ads, retargeted everyone from there, dialed in his email sequences, because our email, again, we're going to talk about this in a second, why emails are so fucking important for you guys, compared with good ad messaging. And then we hit a 10x ROAS, and we spent 1K and we made like 10 or 11K from this webinar campaign, which then gave us the freedom to breathe a bit and to invest more in his infrastructure, because we saw, okay, it is working. Okay. And this is like was kind of the tipping point where we then thought, oh man, he's actually seeing good numbers. So why not completely invest in him and scale the offer to the fucking moon? This is exactly what we did. And I will run you through everything here right now. Well, the first thing that we did, it always starts, guys, I'm saying this so often in my videos, it always starts with the offer. When taking a look at his offer, I realized that he was selling it for way too less than what it was actually worth, okay? When we think about prices as a signal, okay, low prices signal lower quality and lower expected results. And lower prices also significantly cut your customer value, okay? So when you think about this, low prices kind of position you as someone who wants to attract broke clients. Here, an example, high-ticket customers are more motivated, they invested financially and psychologically, they're more likely to see supreme results, and because you have less clients, obviously, because they make you more money, you have less support of that. And compared to this low-ticket or lower-priced offers attract price shoppers, tire kickers, low commitment, higher churn rates, and require mass CS or thousands customer support or thousands of buyers, right? Which is why we wanted to position yourself more premium, especially if you offer an offer which is already kind of valuable. You want to make sure you position yourself in a way that it's still very, 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 very premium, right? So what we did, we upped his prices to immediately position ourselves as a premium expert. We upped the prices to attract more serious and affluent leads. Also condition our pixel based on more affluent leads, because we were reporting these leads back through a conversions API, right? And they enabled us, obviously, to have a level of service which is impossible with low ticket offers. So if you think about Bentley or Rolex, this is the psychology of luxury, right? 70% of luxury buys equate higher prices with better quality. Command prices that reflect that transformation, not just the information that you're selling. And you can do this through following a simple 3-step offer structure. Okay, this is what I call the offer triangle. So as you can see over there, we basically installed this 3-step offer structure with it. We had a done for you and done with you offer that we were selling for 12K now. We upped it. It was at 7.5K earlier. We upped it and sold it now. Like it was a $4,500 increase. But we also framed the offer as way more valuable, because remember, your deliverables can be good for your offer, but you need to position your offer the right way. And if your offer isn't positioned the right way, leads will struggle to perceive the actual value of what you're offering. Meaning, You might sell it for 12K, but leads might only think it's 7.5K worth. So we want to make sure the way how we present it on the sales calls, on a webinar replay promos, on the follow-up sequences is aligned with the higher price. Okay, so essentially, we not only installed this, we also installed the done with you offer for 6K and the do-it-yourself offer for 3K. So basically, on a sales call, our closers would then pitch, first of all, the 12K offer, which is also the offer that we pitched on our webinars, right? And then when the leads didn't want to convert, they entered down to the 6K offer, which was less valuable, still very valuable for the price, and obviously a massive decrease from 12K to 6K, right? And then we entered it down again to the 3K offer if there was literally no other option, okay? So we highly increased his top offers price and introduced this triangle structure. And not only this, we also created offer decks mapping out every single deliverable for our sales team step by step, so they knew exactly what to focus on. And we had agreements with the setup as well that we then later automated through our entire onboarding automation system, which I'm going to run you through in a second. Now, just want to run you real quick through our do-it-yourself offer. A do-it-yourself offer was basically 6 months of access to the community, right? Including school, the video courses and the community. Then 6 months of live weekly group coaching calls, which were like kind of 6 calls, all recorded calls. Then they had email and direct access to the coaches, scripts for closing wholesale accounts, software trials and discounts, access to his business network and scaling, business funding assistance, and a 30-minute onboarding call with a customer success manager, right? So essentially, as you can see, for $3,000, 6 months is still a lot of time. And they got like 6 group coaching calls. They got the entire school. They got the entire the business funding network and the virtual assistants train network, where we're kind of placing like pre-trained virtual assistants on their offer to help them delegate tasks, right? Which is very valuable for 3K, right? But then we also had the done with you offer, where they had 1 year of all of this stuff. So just logically, when we have 3K for 6 months, 1 year of all of the stuff for 6K makes a lot of sense. But on top of that, on top of all the stuff that they already had over there, they also did 3 months of dedicated one-on-one coaching with a designated coach, including bi-weekly calls, a private one-on-one community channel with the coach and Phil, and a personal onboarding call. Right now, the one-on-one coaching is actually even done by him himself. So very, very valuable, just for 3K more, okay? But now, guys, when you might be thinking, okay, this is already a valuable offer. Most of the guys out there are selling bullshit online. Yeah, 100%. But look at the next offer, okay? Over there, we had ongoing one-on-one support guarantee. This is the only offer with a guarantee, by the way. So he will provide one-on-one sessions beyond the initial 3 months until the client has verified $12,000 in net profit. Okay, not the revenue, but a net profit on his bank account, meaning he remade the investment fee. He will get 1 year buyers group access. Buyers group, guys, is insanely valuable because it basically already includes pre-sourced products opportunities from his trusted suppliers. So they can directly source products from his suppliers, products that come from him, that he's himself selling. He gives them access to this, to his very own relationships. And when maybe you're not in the wholesale space or not in the Amazon space, but when you're a business owner, you know how important connections are. And he literally connects you directly and gives you the opportunity to source from his very own business partners, which is insanely valuable, right? And on top of that, you're getting done for you prep and shipping, meaning you get access to his warehouse for professional prep and shipping services. And they then basically take your product, prep them, ship them to Amazon, 100% hands off. So you can literally source from his suppliers, send them to his warehouse, and then bring them onto Amazon. Meaning he's kind of skipping two steps in there. Like you don't need to start these products in your garage, and you skip kind of making these supplier relationships, which is one of the most important parts in building an Amazon business. So his offer was already resolving these two main parts, okay? And we applied obviously limited time frames to these most valuable services. As you can see over there, they just get 1 year of this, and this is also 1 year, by the way. Okay? And then an upsell potential could be, yo, for $500 a month, you can stay within this Buyers group or within the Prep Center services. Okay. Now they're done for you and they're done with your offer are way more valuable than the other offers, right? And they're the only offers that contain guarantees. As you can see, I still remember one of the messages that I said that they're like, to be honest, for 5K, even compared to most offers out there, most coaches would be 5K for 3 months of coaching, plus course, plus community, that's it. So going with a 10K offer is perfect in my opinion. Then I told our sales manager basically also to include some stuff over there. You always need to make sure that the communication between sales and marketing is dialed in. Okay, so what I'm always kind of recommending you guys to do is sell info services. So basically a combination of an info product and a done for you service is probably one of the most future-proofed offers that you can sell. Because when you think about it, info products, like if you would just sell his school and his Discord, now that's obviously good, but compare it simply to services that are done for you, where you literally take the entire fulfillment part out of your students because you're doing it for them and they get access to your Buyers group. So these services is what's setting you apart in the market. Find your very own info services and try to offer them. Okay, this will make your offer insanely valuable. Now, with that being said, that's how we basically adjusted his entire offer. And this was a main reason how we managed to significantly increase our margins, because obviously we were earning $4,500 more per high ticket sale, right? And it was the same offer, we just positioned it right. I think he didn't even position the Buyers group and the Prep Center services in his webinar pitch. I think he didn't even mention it. we're going to run through the presentations in a bit, so we can double check this. But yeah, you can see how way more important price and positioning is. Now, with that being said, let's move to the funnel. And the funnel is obviously where we read every single thing. Okay, so this was his webinar landing page before we started working with him. This is it. Okay, it ends here. It starts over here. Just let that sink in. This is the webinar landing page. Okay, maybe you've noticed it. This is completely generated with Claude, no courses, no guesswork, just personalized mentorship that gets results. What kind of mentorship, bro? This is a webinar where he's introducing the business model. This isn't a webinar designed to sell his mentorship. Obviously, at the end, we're selling it. But this webinar's main goal is to deliver free value. And you're already mentioning mentorship in the first sentence. Like, hell, what's going on over there? These people might be thinking, I thought I'd opted in for a free webinar, and you already want to sell me your mentorship. Deliver some value, please, right? And it's obviously generated by AI, as we can see. Now, also, the headline is unspecific. It's free webinar. We never say webinar in the headlines. Just sounds very marketing way. And build an Amazon business from scratch. It's unspecific, doesn't talk to me, the headline, doesn't include any kind of dream outcome, is weird, and from scratch, like, it will attract a bunch of beginners, right? And also, phone and email is not mandatory. Like, they can literally just opt in with their first name and their last name, and we have no option to reach out to them via our email reminders or even to match them with our Facebook accounts because we don't collect their email. Hell yeah, like, what are you guys doing? Like, literally. Okay, this was his webinar landing page. Again, one of the rudest webinar landing pages I've ever seen. Messaging completely no sense, no urgency, no timer on there, no student proof section, no subheadline, just AI generated content, right? Now, here's the landing page that we installed. Okay. Now, first of all, as you can see over there, we set up an entire headline, how you can build a profitable Amazon wholesale business that creates real financial freedom on the side, dream outcome, okay? Earn extra spending money and more time with your family without building a second full-time job. Eases their pay. Then we had registration VSL in there as well, 3 minute long. We had a timer, which is essentially there. We were writing the event date in here, which isn't on this page, right? And yeah, student proof section over there. Then the agenda section, what they're going to learn. Lead magnet to sign up, meet your host section, talking about our client, some client wins and some transformations. And most importantly, the hero section was dialed in, right? VSL timer over there. Again, you can see it because it's ended. I still need to update it. And yeah, huge button. And then we even have an Instagram autofill on our pages where they can basically just click on their autofill their data and they're all set up, right? And the most important thing, obviously, here the headline. So as you can see, headline, how you can build a profitable Amazon wholesale business that creates real financial freedom on the side. And since we're targeting a lot of people here with another job, especially with this headline, we wanted to kind of appeal to this real financial freedom thing, which is what they want to build, without mentioning an income claim in there. And we still wanted to appeal that they probably want to do it to have more time with their family. They don't obviously want to build another job, so want to have a business that they can run with in their spare time. Then on top of that, because these guys didn't even have this in place, we installed a webinar confirmation page, which is congratulating them and affirming their action. Then it contains a WhatsApp group, which we created for him, basically where they can then join a WhatsApp nurturing group and receive a lot of sales assets. It has an add to calendar link where they can directly add it to their Google Calendar. And it has a bunch of breakout videos about the webinar. Is this actually live? What if I can't make the workshop? I got burned before. Will this work? Will you try to sell me something? Isn't Amazon saturated? Can I do this without any specific skills? Client wins. And then over here, we've even installed an order bump page, which is kind of a VIP ticket that we'll be selling soon. Right now, we're still not doing it because it will cook our sharp rates a bit. And we kind of like, we want to optimize, obviously, for the backend offer. And as long as we're getting qualified leads, it's not necessarily needed for us. We could obviously liquidate our ad spend from then, and we were currently doing this across other client accounts. But for this client, we just set it up to have it in the back end. We already installed the entire picture. As you can see, this should be sold for $97, by the way. Picture still needs to be updated. Yeah, 97, as you can see over there. Then this would basically be our order bump page, right? But this is everything what we did for him. And through this way better funnel, we were able to attract the right customer through messaging, through headline, through a VSL. We were able to condition our pixel because obviously when someone hits this page over here, right, we're sending his data back to Meta, and then Meta knows, okay, this is actually a person who's qualified because he reacts to this kind of messaging, to this kind of VSL, which is still pre-qualifying them and is intentionally added for friction, and sends the data back to Meta's server, right? And then basically this way we can condition our pixel better and go after more flow leads. We have a way higher opt-in rate, and we have a way higher show-up rate because of our breakup video and the confirmation page best practices over there, right? So this was a crucial step. Now, on top of that, obviously, after someone opts in, he will see the breakout page, the breakout video, the thank you page, and then he should receive a bunch of emails as well. These guys were sending emails like very weirdly. I don't know what they were doing, to be honest. I think they didn't either. And the domain deliverability was absolutely cooked. Like they were at a 4%. Look, I'm going to run you through this. They were at a 4% open rate, okay? Because they were sending emails through a dedicated domain and go high level. Right? Now, I installed the best domain practices in there, which is an SPF, a DMARC, and a DKIM. We bought a new domain, by the way, right? Which is basically a security protocol that lists the IP addresses in a DNS record, in the text record, that are authorized to send emails from a particular domain. This is kind of like your signature, right? Then we had a DKIM process to verify the owner. And we had a DMARC and a DKIM process, right? Which are basically email records that you need to set up to make sure that your email doesn't get flagged as spam and looks good to Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook, and so on, right? So we want to make sure that this is dialed in, okay? Otherwise, your email deliverability will be cooked. And if your deliverability will be cooked, the content of the emails doesn't matter. So this is more important than the content of the emails, right? So what I did, install this, 2 weeks warm-up phase using SmartLead. And then we were like kind of like at a 20% open rate across our emails. Like we went from I don't know if I said sharp rate earlier, but 4% open rate to 20% open rate just through installing this email best practices. And then obviously we switched to ConvertKit one day, and now we're kind of like at a 40% open rate across our emails, right? Which obviously significantly helped us with our sharp rates for webinars, right? Now, once this was one thing that we dialed in for him, and I hear, like, he just told me that he had a lot of friends who were struggling with email deliverability. So I know a lot of you guys might be struggling with this too. So here you go, use ConvertKit. And if you need an exact step-by-step setup for all of this, free to reach out to me. Now, on top of that, we also installed 15 to 20 value-based long-form emails, obviously, right? Because now once the open rate was dialed in, our open rates might be good, but if nobody wants to read the second email because the first one was bullshit, it's all in vain. So we installed value-based email marketing with a pre-webinar flow where we were handling first layer questions, which could be something like explaining the wholesale model, and then second layer questions, so explaining, for example, supplier research, explaining product research, explaining VAs and delegation, then objections, where we were laying down the founder story, client testimonials, why do you run this webinar, expectations, how long does it take to see results, what will we learn, how can you implement what you've learned, another objection, is this legit? I'm working full-time, can I make this work, right? So basically a lot of emails that make sense and very, very important that align with the webinar. Now, what I see a lot of people kind of sending pre-call flows in there, but keep in mind, this is a webinar. So you should obviously talk about what they are going to learn on the webinar. I'm going to mute Discord here because it's just, again, what they are going to learn on the webinar. Right, this is the most important thing here. You need to make sure it's aligned, because if it's not aligned, it just makes absolutely no sense. Someone opts in for your webinar, what they want to see in their emails is you talking about the webinar and about what they're going to learn, right? And this is how we've increased our sharp rates to 40% across nearly all of his campaigns, right? Now, on top of that, we were installing WhatsApp reminders. We had a WhatsApp group, also Hammer Mats. I'm going to run you through the Hammer Mats in a second. But yeah, WhatsApp reminders, as you can see, this is a group for those of you who don't know me, blah, blah, blah. Even though I thought, then I got into e-commerce, I learned, explains the story and so on. You are basically sending polls in there for engagement, commitment to assess lead quality, important links, selfie videos, nurturing sales assets, YouTube videos, gamma boards, screenshots, testimonials, client interviews, literally every single thing these guys needed. And let me just run you through this real quick. So as you can see over there, this is a WhatsApp SOP where we've got everything SOP'd out. So you can see this is currently a WhatsApp flow. And we're getting our VA to send us messages. So we've got case study, community poll, images, another image, one day before, community poll, a lot of it. So you see, we're sending a bunch of stuff in there. Then obviously the link, then kind of the guarantee. And yeah, this is basically what we currently have in place for him. Now, the most important thing, again, is this messaging alignment. So when you think about it, when someone enters our funnel, the first thing what they will see is our ads, then our landing pages, then our emails, our WhatsApp, our ads, our Hammer ads, right? And then a webinar. And we want to make sure the messaging is aligned across this entire funnel, right? From the first touch point to the last part, which is ideally the same. If not, we will have huge drop-off points between all of these different steps of the funnel. And I just want to show you an example of bad messaging. So if I'm saying in my ad, if you're already running a wholesale business, you're missing one step to actually break through the ceiling, right? And then I'm kind of like talking about scaling opportunities or whatever. And just imagine someone who resonates with this ad, clicks on this ad, and then sees a landing page with the headline, learn how to build a profitable Amazon wholesale business without quitting your 9 to 5, right? And these guys would be thinking, man, in the ad you said, if I'm already running a wholesale business, which kind of indicates that I don't have a 9 to 5, and you're telling me how I should build one in your headline? Like, what? It makes no sense, right? For example, a headline which could work for these guys would be something like, learn how to grow your wholesale business to 20K a month using a set scale strategy, right? Makes a lot of more sense. This is not only true for your headlines, this is true for the VSL that you have on your headline. This is true for the subheadline, for the agenda section, for the emails, for every single thing that relates to your webinar promo. It needs to be aligned, okay? Make sure. Think about a big main idea, for example, for this client. What we want to do is we want to have shift a bit with our messaging, go with the big main idea. You don't need to build a brand, right? If you're already selling on Amazon, you're building a brand, maybe you're drop shipping crappy shit from China, or you heard about all of this and strategies. You don't need to do all of the stuff. You don't need to build a new brand to have success on Amazon. You can simply plug into demand that already exists, sell products that are already on listings, and buy stuff from brands that need you, because these brands already are producing thousands of products every single day. They are selling and the demand is increasing. What we see, like literally Amazon paid out $2 trillion to private retailers such as us, right? And then basically go with an ad like this. You see at this point, I'm just freestyling this ads because we found our main majority hook, okay? Now, with that being said, guys, a very, very important step in here after you've dialed in the funnel is the presentation itself. And this is probably where we did most of the work for this guy as well. And where we're still going to implement way more. Warning. Open your current webinar presentation if you're running a webinar already, and check if you're committing the following mistakes. Mistake 1, you don't have a hook. Mistake 2, you don't have a structured intro. Mistake 3, there's no selling on the opportunity. Mistake 4, you have no pain part. Mistake 4, you're not future pacing. Mistake 6, you're not explaining the business model. Mistake number 7, you don't have a live training. Mistake 8, you're not screen sharing. Mistake 9, you're not transitioning to pitch. And mistake 10, you're only listing deliverables. Now, with that being said, guys, let's run us real quick through the old presentation that the agency prepared for him and compare it kind of with our new presentation. The first thing that you might notice, old presentation, new presentation, okay? Right, so kind of more than twice the size of it. So as you can see, they start with the same, this is okay, how to build a real Amazon business even if you have no skills. Then they directly start with introducing the host, okay? Then kind of no sense transition to did you know? Okay, this is okay. What is wholesale? And then they just show one product. And this is it. This is it. This is their explanation of the business model, okay? This also makes absolutely no sense. This isn't even a Vimeo link that works. Again, another agreements. You don't need it. You first of all need to sell why we are even here on this training. What is happening? I don't want to hear all of these important agreements here. All right. I don't want to hear who this is for. I already signed up for this, man. Right? I would like, why? Why? Okay, this is still okay. This is kind of free teasing. Well, what is making sense of all? You literally didn't explain anything yet. Okay. This kind of a story, it's okay, but as you can just see, it makes absolutely no sense. Like there's no restructuring there. They're not digging into the pain. They're not relating with the customer. They're not explaining why they're here, and they're not explaining the opportunity, which is the most important thing. Okay, so we're going to talk about more in just a second. But what we did for the intro is exactly as you can see. Today we're going to talk about wholesale, of course. By the end of this masterclass, clear expectations. Okay, let me ask you a question. Hook, have you ever wished you could go back in time? Well, I've got good news for you. This is your time machine. Barely anyone is doing this yet. This opportunity is like buying Bitcoin. We are hyping them, right? Bomb. E-commerce industry. More people are buying every year. So how can you get a piece of that pie? There are dozens of different ways to sell on Amazon, right? Most Amazon gurus are teaching you dropshipping. What they then tell you, and then our private label. Here's what all these businesses have in common, right? But wait, what about retail arbitrage? No, it's definitely not. You're spending your entire weekend. I know this because I've tried all of this out. I spent on a guy who never sold an hour, and none of it gave me what I actually freedom. Then his journey, right? His wins, and then this generated him all of this money. What is it? What products will I sell? Fulfilling demand. We're building a Walmart on Amazon. We buy from authorized suppliers. We automate it. We build a scalable income. And then Amazon pays over from Walmart report, right? And then we sell the opportunity. We position it, what it is. We explain what it is. And then we kind of set it apart from all the other different Amazon models out there. And a lot of people that we're going to attract with our messaging are people who are already interested in Amazon and selling something there, but I don't know what model to choose, and we're telling them why wholesale is the best model. And as you can see over there, we're explaining very much in depth, right? For example, over here. You're selling household products that people are already buying in the millions every single year. You plug into yourself on the listings, not a risky new product launch or brand. You aren't inventing, building a brand organism. We sell the same stuff Walmart sells. You sell deliver first spend a single dollar in inventory. Amazon, $1 billion company, just as a fulfillment. Right? And then we dig into pain. Now, from talking to many of you, I know most of you feel stuck trading time for money. Or some of you just locked in a facing net, you're not able to provide for yourself. Some of you have already started, maybe even paid for a career. You're looking to build an extra income on Amazon by following a business model that actually works. This is the same place where me and my students were at, right? None of them had special results. Imagine what having a profitable Amazon business could actually feel like. Being present when your family needs you. Paying off your mortgage faster. Would it be worth investing your time into? Just how many students that I live right now, right? As you can see, we've got, we are hooking them first with the Back to the Future, then we're explaining the business model, selling the industry, we're digging into the pain of these people, and then we're future pacing them and exciting them how their future could look like, and then obviously we're getting commitment with are you ready to start the trade. And then in the training section, I really want to show you the training section of this webinar. Now, I'm not going to lie, okay? This is not edited. This is what's literally the training section. Okay, it starts here. It starts here. This is it. This is the training section, guys, that this agency created for him. This is the value of the webinar. Okay, the rest was just the main big pitch. He wasn't sharing anything. It was 5 slides. Okay. So what we did, obviously, like, this is what most people get around. They think a webinar is just a big pitch and you kind of just explain something. It isn't like that. Okay. A webinar is a lot of value. You deliver so much value as you can, as much value as you can. And the more value you deliver, the more these people will get hyped for your real product. So what we're doing, essentially, is what we did for him was create an entire new training. So as you can see over there, let me just check. Perfect. So this was the new presentation now, okay? Without a proper foundation, we're explaining why it matters. Suppliers will see you at a risk. The wholesale gain is gaining about X, Y, Z. So how can I implement this? Had to be set up your LLC, get some business funding, next get your reset certificate, do XYZ, congratulations, you know how it's set up. Do you understand why it's so important? Phase number 2, acquire wholesale and brand direct accounts. Without this, you will be stuck in retail arbitrage. Getting this right gives you brand direct accounts are about, so how can I actually implement this? Finding right. So, how do you find yourself? We use this old way, new way. Let's beat around how to use. And then he shares his screen. This is the most important thing. So we embedded, first of all included per pillar, per phase, we included 10 to 15 different slides explaining why it matters, what it is, and how they can implement it is. And then in the implementation part, he's sharing his screen for at least 5 to 10 minutes, showing in this case the software here to find suppliers, okay, for 5 to 10 minutes, showing them everything in depth. And then they come back, and then the next phase. And then here again, let's speedrun how I use third-party products, blah, 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 to do it live. And then he's sharing his screen again. And these screen sharing components, when you look at the retention rates in the webinar, and I've been checking this through all the time, you can see this is where the most people actually stay, where he's laying down valuable information. Look at your webinar retention rates and you will notice it. So definitely include valuable content and training in your webinar, because if you don't, people will never buy from you. I would never buy from you if you're just pitching me on your webinar. And a lot of people aren't stupid. They want value. They're ready to invest in money, in valuable information. And if you're able to deliver them and sell them on your authority, and then that you actually know what you're talking about, by sharing them value and by getting these belief shifts in their head, you're welcome, my friend. Now, with that being said, let's dive real quick also into the pitch section, because as you can see, pitch is also very important for the webinar. And basically the pitch that these guys had prepared was simply, okay, crossroad option, there are only 3 paths left to go. Was this valuable for you so far? Getting commitment, this is fine. And then getting instantly to the problem. Like the pitch, transition to pitch was very, very small over there. So what we did, first of all, obviously on our other training parts, was this valuable for so far? We are future pacing. What are the first things you would do? The only thing is left going. Then we take the pathway. This is where we change nothing. And then we explain, you can by all means make it alone, but starting alone is super tough. The truth is most people never succeed. They stumble around, make expensive mistakes, which is exactly why I built my coaching program. So we explain the story of building this coaching program, which is very important because studies show that people are 70% more likely to take the desired action if you give them a reason for why it happens, right? Took on a couple students, and this results blew my mind. My student Dave, my for Eric, and Max. Altogether, my students have generated over $10 million in collective sales, so it's fair to say it worked. This is where we introducing massive student proof. What was in the other presentation was lacking is obviously like this was their transition to pitch, right? So we were introducing this, and because you attended, I want to reward you with an offer where I show you exactly like it did. Or if I have your permission, this is kind of, we're getting the commitment to pitch them with the offer. This is asking for permission to pitch, and then we get into the offer, right? And also for the pitch, as you can see over there, we are laying out a lot of different deliverables. So they lay out down the deliverables, and that's it, right? What we do, we explain why they matter. We share it all. Everyone starts small, but he's surrounded by an environment of continuous improvement. Then, again, what would having all this mean for you? This is something what the other presentation doesn't have neither. All right. And then I instantly go into the bonuses. And we also go to the bonuses, and as you can see, I just want to check if the bias screw is in there. If it isn't in there, this is probably the biggest mistake these guys have made. Yeah, it wasn't in there. Access to one bias group and prep services. We added this as well. We added some one-on-one software command center, and yeah, a lot of stuff in there. So literally did a lot of stuff with this presentation. I also added some guarantee. And yeah, this is how we redesigned this entire presentation. And again, the most important thing was probably restructuring the intro, selling the opportunity, digging into pain points, explaining the business model in about a bunch of slides, explaining the opportunity, and then most important thing, dialing in the training and including the screen search sections. And this is exactly the Jason Fladian framework, the $250 million webinar Nance framework. There's even written webinars for Alex Hormozi, for example, or for other huge brands like Jordan Lee's AI Acquisition, which you might know. And yeah, this is how we are currently seeing. This is one of our webinars, 85% retention rate across our webinar campaigns, and pretty strong. This is the pitch, by the way. Pretty strong book call rates. And for this one webinar, we boosted our booking rates from 77% to more than 15% and sometimes even 20%, and doubled our overall campaign revenue, right? Now, with that being said, this is how we adjusted the presentation. Now, obviously, the most important thing here is the ads. So how we actually attract the customers who are aligned with our, because when we go back to the funnel over there, with our landing pages, with our emails or WhatsApps, our Hammer ads, our webinars, and most importantly, like, how could we align this messaging and what was actually the main angle that we want to go with. So this is the ads. I always lay this down in my videos. When you think about the market, we have 40% of non-buyers, 40% of mass market, 16% of niche convinced people, and 4% of in-market buyers, right? Now I want to explain what this actually means in practice. Non-buyers are people who will never ever buy from you, right? No matter what you do for our Amazon wholesale coaching, for example, they will never buy a coaching, right? For example, I might be a non-buyer for him because I'm already doing other stuff, I'm doing marketing, and I will not buy from you, right? Then there are people who are completely unaware of the urge to build a second income stream online, for example. And this would be unaware people. They aren't even aware that they have a problem, meaning they aren't aware that they need to change anything about the mass market people, unaware people. They're just not aware of anything. They're just existing, literally. Like, they're doing their thing, they're happy, and they don't have an urge to, in our case, for example, why would someone build a wholesale business? Because he wants to build a second income stream online or build a full income online. Mostly it's just a second income stream, right? Then we have needs convinced people, which could be corporate 9-to-5ers or in general people. For us, the needs convinced people would be corporate 9-to-5ers or people who have money to invest, who want to build a second income stream online. They're actively looking for solutions, okay? And then they already sold on the solution of building money online, but they don't know if it's Amazon, maybe, if it's maybe trading, if it's marketing, if it's sales or whatever, okay? And there are other people who are sold on e-commerce already. In general, they know they want to do e-commerce and they want to make money with e-commerce, but they have no money and they have money to invest, but they haven't taken action yet. So they're sold on a business model. Then there are other people who are sold on Amazon wholesale, right, and have money to invest. And there are people who are already actively selling on Amazon, right? And this is our in-market demographic. So these guys are sold on a big opportunity. These guys are sold on wholesale. And these guys are already doing it, okay? Now what we did, we targeted this kind of needs convinced to in-market demographic, because these people, we didn't need to convince them that they had a problem right now. They already knew they had a problem. They were looking for a solution, and most of them already knew that e-commerce was the solution they wanted to go. So we just needed to position Amazon as the right e-commerce model for them, Amazon wholesale, compared to all the other business models out there. So our main message was, you don't need to build a brand or design fancy products from China. You can just plug into existing demand, right? Now, our best performing ad became the retail arbitrage ad, for example, where we were talking to an in-market Amazon seller demographic who were already doing another business model, retail arbitrage. They were already selling existing brands, but they were doing it manually. They were manually scaling. Retail arbitrage is when you manually go to Walmart, for example, scan products and then resell them on Amazon, which is obviously not scalable, very physically demanding, and very time consuming, right? So wholesale, kind of buying everything in bulk at lower wholesale prices, made a lot of sense to them. And then we obviously have people who are interested in building a brand, or we think about Amazon and think about drop shipping, and they don't understand that they simply can't sell products from existing brands by plugging into this demand through wholesale, and they don't need to invent demand, way more future proof. So we targeted these solution-aware people with our main messaging in our ads, and then obviously in our webinars, as you can see over there. In the first slides of the webinar, I was laying out why Amazon wholesale is way better than dropshipping or private label, for example, right? And the emails saying exact thing. Now, another big thing that we did with the ads was to switch the standard event. So we switched from the standard event lead, which is the main event that's used to promote free lead magnets and generally attracts freebie seekers sends lower quality signals, lower lead quality, attracts lower lead quality to the standard event complete registration. And if you don't have any idea about what I'm talking about here, this is basically the event that you can optimize your meta campaign for. So when I have my meta campaign, right, I have my results column, results, and my ads manager, and I basically can have this lead event over here in the results column, or I could have the complete registration event over there in the results column. And we simply removed this event from our website and added this event. Let me mark this. Added this event to our thank you page, meaning when someone hit this thank you page, we were sending the event complete registration to them, right? Now, with that being said, complete registration is the one that's used for webinar registrations, right? It attracts people who register for a live event and have a way higher intent. Equals higher show up rates, higher lead quality. Okay, so when we think about the in-market audience, we basically have a percentage of the audience which is leads, and another percentage of the market audience which is complete registrations. And we were optimizing for complete registrations. Now, I just want to show you real quick the direct response ads that we ran for Phil. I will show you a couple of them with the in-market messaging. Again, if you're more curious about running ads and so on, I've got a full meta ads guide on my channel. And by the way, ads require a lot of work. So if you want us guys to come in there and do the exact same thing that we did for our client Phil, who we scaled him to 100K a month, then simply feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Simon@Asman, or send me a DM there, or book a call with me on growinginfunnel.com. Now, with that being said, the direct response ads. This one is the one that performed so well for us. So you're flipping products from Walmart or TD Walmart Max on Amazon right now, doing the arbitrage market, and you're making a decent profit. I'm describing their current circumstances. Flipping products, very, very, very in-market term, in-market language. Arbitrage, only in-market people will understand this. Decent profit. We want people with money, obviously. But for all that, you're driving all over town, scanning barcodes, and you're draining yourself physically every single day. Pain, okay? Describing the situation. You stop walking, you stop making money, right? And it's essentially worse than a 9 to 5. I was flipping clearance items from Walmart for years. But the side hustle I started to earn more money in Game of Freedom quickly became a full-time job. Everything changed when I discovered a much more sustainable and scalable wholesale model. Okay, solution. Instead of driving to Walmart, I started buying products directly from the source. I bought the same products in masses from real authorized suppliers at even cheaper wholesale prices. That's how I drastically reduced my workload and built a 7-figure business over the last 4 years. My student did the exact same thing after transitioning to wholesale, where I handle prep services and sent them directly to Apple. I also built placed a full-time VA on his business. Just think about it. Never have to touch a properly again. Now hosting a free live workshop, click below to register, right? Another email. Are you struggling to find reliable suppliers for your Amazon business? You probably purchased from easy to find suppliers that are auto-approved. By the way, this is a pain hook, right? Are you struggling to find reliable supplies for your Amazon business, implying they already have an Amazon business? You found the bargain, and then you ended up buying from liquidators on unreliable sources. These are only pain points that in-market customers, people over here, relate to, right? This is in-market language. When Amazon asks for authenticity, your invoices aren't there, they're flawed, and suddenly your account is at risk. That means you could get your account shut down. And even if this hasn't happened to you yet, buying from the warranty supplier is one of the biggest risks for a business. I nearly got my account suspended. I was buying products from liquidators because they couldn't provide commercial invoices. Everything changed when I followed a proven sourcing system. Okay, before I ever contacted, I verify if they're worth my time. I use AI software. I don't delegate, do it myself. I have VAs. If you want to learn how to do the same, reach out to me. And this is the corporate angle. So when you think about our targeting, this would be our needs convinced targeting over here. Corporate 9 to 5ers want to build a second income stream. We can all agree that selling on Amazon is one of the most scalable ways to build a second income stream online. Also, people who are already sold on e-commerce with the targeting. Assuming you're currently working a stable corporate job, you have some capital to invest in inventory, and you know that you need to invest money to make more money. Profitable Amazon business working only a couple of hours away, all without quitting your job. Nobody truly understands the opportunity in simply fulfilling existing demand. Everyday products like clearance items that people are buying in the millions. But instead of opening our own, we're selling these on the world's biggest online mental health, most of our fulfillment. That's how I build a 7-figure Amazon business. They're helping hundreds of my clients do the same. Their businesses are 85% automated. We use AI software. If you've got some capital to invest and want to learn how to build this game, all by following a system that works for 100 of others, click below and register for my free live workshop. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is our main messaging. And it's kind of a very rich people messaging with a lot of qualifiers, qualifying in either through the language that we use or directly saying if you know you need to invest money to make money and you have money to invest in inventory, which is kind of a good qualifier to having also money to invest in coaching. Yeah. And then we also have some static ads, type of buy from liquidators. You can see the background is product over there. Scale without supplier headaches. High margins. Trusted sources in market language. Online retail is massive. Spare time. Require startup capital. Busy professionals. Extra. 85% automated. Background. Reliable supplier. Delegate. Right? Background. Without quitting your job. Requires upfront investment. We had Amazon sales scale. Repeatable results, automated workflows, extra pre-trained stuff. Okay? Now, these are basically how we structured our direct response ads. And on top of that, we already also set up some Hammer ads. Now, if you don't know what Hammer ads are our ads that we run in front of before our workshop to increase our show-up rates significantly, because people, after signing up for a workshop, are at a stage where they need more information to determine whether what you're selling is valuable or not. Okay, and based on that, they will show up or not. So you need to provide them value, get in front of them as many times as you can, and hit them with as many different angles as you can, different objections, handling asks as you can. So this is designed to increase your show-up rates, and we do this through handling 4 quadrants of content again. Talked about this. First layer questions, second layer questions, objections, and expectations. Okay? We have a short-form Hammer campaign with 25 to 30 form short-form content pieces for this climbing in place from Jeremy Haynes, the absolute goat, where we're currently getting cost per through play, meaning what it takes someone to watch the entire video, one of these videos for $1. And then we have a long-form Hammer campaign with 15 to 20 long-form content pieces. Okay. Now, Hammer assets can be, again, for short-form content, basically reels, posts about any of these 4 quadrants of content. So very, very similar. I could make a reel, for example, to our email messaging reel explaining, here are the 3 best ways to find a reliable supplier on Amazon. Way number 1, you use AI software to scale your supplier sheets and directly find suppliers who are already selling brands that are on listings and so on. Way number 2, you use XYZ, okay? And I could make another reel about product research. Okay, so you got your Amazon business set up, but how do we actually find a profitable product? Well, it's actually quite simple. Thanks to AI, we can now literally cut our workload in half simply by plugging our supplier sheets into our AI software, which analyzes them, scans every row against Amazon's database, and tells us every single metric that we need already. Right, let me show you this real quick how it works. Then I share my screenshot on the reel and run it through. It gives them some information. And literally all this other stuff as well. We even run these FAQ videos that you can see on this page as Hammer ads, right? So we're running these videos. Is this live? What if I can make it? I got burned. Will you try to sell me something? How much time does it take? Should you trust me? We're running these as Hammer Mats. We're running these client testimonials as Hammer Mats. These as well. Like a lot of stuff that we can do over there, right? I just wanted to show you real quick. This, by the way, lifted our Sharp rates by around 10%. We could still spend more on it, to be honest. We're spending around 10% of the campaign budget on Hammer Mats. Another Hammer Mat. What's the real difference between buying? This is for retail arbitrage, guys. So when someone clicks on the ad from here and then sees this Hammer Mat, will think, man, this thing talks to me, right? Holy shit. Well, most people think selling on Amazon is about going to Walmart or Target with a barcode scanner up. And look, that works maybe for about 3 months. And then you realize you spend 30 hours a week driving from store to store. Your margins are getting worse because everyone else found the same clearance rack and you're making less per hour than you did at your actual job. You're paying the highest possible price for the product. Walmart already marked it up and you're getting whatever margin is left. My direct wholesale approach flips it entire mob. Right? We're explaining why it matters. Why should I believe I can succeed when most people fail? At Amazon, they're failing because they're doing completely wrong. They're drop shipping, private labeling, slapping private label on there. Okay, how do you actually find profitable wholesale products to sell? Right? A lot of stuff over there. Why is now the right time to start an Amazon business? A student win who started, another student win. Okay, so this is basically your Hammer Mats. Now, this is how we completely transformed our clients at messaging with installing the Hammer Mat campaigns. Didn't have any of these in place, tailoring them to the right messaging and making sure the direct response ads were dialed in as well. And then we, most important thing also is sales. So the marketing can be as good as we want, but if our sales team sucks, we won't make any money. Okay, so we placed our very own sales manager on this offer and fired the old one and hired 2 new closers and one set it from a private network. Our sales manager did some great work over there. We also installed a sales asset. So, for example, there's a quick gamma bot I created for him where we're selling the opportunity. This is kind of a sales asset, which our closers are then sending to them, which we're embedding in our workflows, which these guys sees pre-call. So let's say they register for the webinar, right? They book in their call after the webinar, they show up, book in the call, and then they have another 2 or 3 days until their call happens, and then they see the sales assets over there, where we explain the opportunity again. I was on wholesale, what it is, what changed, and market opportunity. We lay out the economics, right? Cost structure, other than us, the heavy lifting. How this compares to what you may have tried to drop shipping, private label. We could even be more in depth over here. And then we show video, revenue streams, tell the story, offer deliverables, what's in there, unique selling position, student wins with testimonials, frequently asked questions, expectations, what happens on your call, like a huge gamma doc with everything that they actually need, kind of a selling page, a sales page that they get pre-call. Now we then embed this gamma bot in our 15 to 20 pre-call emails, including 4 to 6 SMS reminders. These are value-dense long-form emails that target the 4 quadrants of content that we've talked about many times in this video already. They should have logical messaging. So something like, okay, you've learned a lot on the workshop, but now there's a massive gap between implementation and action. And then they kind of frame this call as actually implementing what they learned and frame joining our program as implementing what they learned. For example, okay, so on the workshop, I ran you through how you can find suppliers and so on, for example, right? Now, obviously, there are different ways to do it. We talked about this in pillar number 2. You can use third-party profits for this, but you want the most important thing is to connect with the suppliers and actually get the right prices. Well, in my community, the syndicate, I actually offer a buyers group where you can source directly from my suppliers at very similar contracts and similar prices. So you can already take my network and leverage it for your very own business. So this is one of the deliverables that you, for example, get inside to the syndicate, and it's crucial because This way, you're skipping one of the most important steps for building an Amazon business, which is, or shortcutting the step, which is finding a reliable supplier, right? And I would have kind of write the emails like this. And then they contain sales assets, gamma boards, YouTube videos, images, and PDF guides. And obviously, our sales team also was dialed in. Again, remember, we hired new closers and setters. We emphasize speed to lead. So after a call was booked or application came in from a VSL funnel, which I'm going to talk about in a second, the setter reached out within minutes, confirmed their available budget, qualified them again, and then pre-framed the call and added the lead to a WhatsApp group of our closer. Our closer was then introducing himself, sending relatable sales assets, client wins and YouTube wins that resonate with this prospect specific situation. For example, if I'm getting someone in my funnel, which is a certain demographic, a certain age group, a certain race, whatever, a certain profession, I would send him a client word which resonates with him, right? To make sure he kind of can identify himself with this client word, right? So I would say, let's say someone is 40-year-old and doesn't know how to handle, isn't tech savvy or whatever, I would send them the student one from these guys, for example, right? Now, on top of that, we install selfie videos. So our closer must to do, our closers send them selfie videos, which is a massive way to establish trust and build rapport. And the second 60-second selfie video can be insanely well pulled. Now, just think about it. You're on a call with a random dude that you don't know. Before the call, the guy holds out his phone and says, "Hey, Joe, here's Simon, by the way. I'm the guy you'll be having your call with on Tuesday at 4 p.m. One of Phil's Meta team members, by the way. And I want to make sure you know every single thing about Amazon wholesale, about the syndicate, about how you can potentially get started after this workshop. On this call, I want to make sure you are as well informed as possible. So in the meantime, I'm going to send you a bunch of helpful information from Phil directly that will make sure that you show up as well perform as possible. You can do your due diligence on us and make sure you take the best decision." So with that being said, if you've got any question, feel free to reach out to me. I will send you another video real quick. And I'm already, happy to see you on our call. Looking forward to a call on Tuesday or whenever it was, right? Just think about it. When someone sends you a message like this, obviously a bit more professional than I did right now, leads will be way more likely to show up because they see you. You're taking yourself time. You're instantly building. You're not hiding behind a profile picture or voice note. They're seeing your face, okay? And then obviously follow-ups are non-negotiable. We're currently still generating 30% of the revenue from there. We want to make sure we have a clean pipeline set up so they can directly know who to follow up with. And the daily follow-up with lost leads, okay? Now, the most important thing, surely, is tracking. I mean, all this could be set up, but if you're not tracking what actually happens, you have no idea. So what we installed is our Airtable tracking system with sales report forms and EOD reports, UTM tracking, so we know exactly what happens. We can see your cash collected, a new cash collected, a reminder cash collected from deposits, cash collected per qualified call, cash per booking, total revenue, calls on the calendar. We see our close rates, which could be potentially a bit higher. Show rates would potentially be a bit higher. Call canceled, calls rescheduled, DQ rate. We see our cash collected per closer. This one performed very well. We just see the number of our closes. We see deals closed, every single thing we need. Okay, we see our SDR EOD, how many outbound dials he attempted, total talk time, try disconnected, outbound dials conversations. Right. We see our booked calls by UTM content. We see our cash collected by UTM. So a lot of stuff in here. And with this tracking system set up, we've also onboarded our entire, we've automated our entire onboarding automation. So essentially, as you can see over there, this is directly from Zapier, where we've got a new record. We kind of filtering them by their call outcome. If it was closed, they directly get an email with our onboarding calling or calendar link with our CSM. And then we tell them exactly what happens next. And we send them the DocuSign contract via email. And then we notify our CSM in our Discord channel to reach out to them. But A lot of work that is automatically done through automating. Disclose it doesn't need to go to DocuSign, pull out the document. We automating all of the stuff in the email as well to make sure, because very important thing, what a lot of you guys don't have in place is a dialed and onboarding system. You can even go as far as taking these leads, adding them to a custom audience in Facebook, and hammering them with kind of onboarding content. Look, you just spot like when they go to Meta, they're in a new custom audience, and you target them with ads where you say something like, yo, thank you for just joining our community. By the way, I want to make sure you're actually seeing the best results and you start in the best way possible with this entire thing. So that's why I'm sending you this video here. And essentially, first thing, do this. This is my students. They saw the best results, and this is the pattern that I noticed in them. So I would highly encourage you to do the same thing. And then we kind of walk them through this on Hammer Them ads. And we do this to basically reduce our churn rates and to make sure we're getting kind of the goodwill, and we open the pathway for upsells, because when they see good results, they're very likely to upsell on one of the upsell offers that we might have in place, and then we can hit them again and increase our overall customer lifetime value. Now, with our setup sales team, with everything automated in there through the ad terminal dashboard, we then want to have a rather consistent lead flow. And obviously with webinars, it's kind of you're getting a lot of leads, and then for some days no leads, and then another time a lot of leads. So for our closers, we just want to make sure we get as many leads in front of them as possible. So what we did is add email marketing as well through ConvertKit, where we're now sending 3 to 4 main email lists, email to the main list a week, with kind of one pitch per week as well, where we're kind of pushing into we're going to call. Then we have got a VSL funnel that now generates sales 24 fucking 7. Okay, we're running ads too as well. I'm not going to talk too much about the VSL funnel. You can see it's the exact same messaging on the VSL. We've got a type format there, client interviews, and so on, and the confirm page as well. But with that being said, guys, that's how we scaled our client from minus 50K to 100K a month. I just laid down every single adjustment that we made. And if you are currently in a similar situation, if you're struggling with webinars, I think you found this video probably very, very helpful, because you can literally take the exact stuff that we just did here, adjust your offer, adjust your presentation, adjust your landing page, adjust your emails, adjust your deliverability, add the WhatsApp group, adjust the messaging, add the Hammer Them ads, add the direct response ads, change the sanity, one very important thing. Get some nice image ads. Like what are you doing, guys? Get some nice direct response ads, right? And basically significantly increase your current overall net profit, which is the most important thing that you should be focusing on. And if you want us guys to come in there and implement this exact thing for you step by step, how we're currently doing it across all of our clients, feel free to reach out to me. It's Simon@Asman on Instagram, links in the bio, or growminfo.com, booking a free strategy call with me. With that being said, guys, if you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe. I would appreciate it. And if you're already a subscriber, or if you just like this video, give me a thumbs up here, share it with someone who might find this video helpful. And with that being said, guys, take care.